Hey guys, Joe here. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about a conversation I just had with a contractor, and he was asking, aren't you having a hard time finding, people that want to work, right? And so what I explained to him is that before it was tough. Before the EOS system, or EOS, because the S would be redundant because it's Entrepreneur Operating System, yeah. Anyway, so before that, and again, I've talked about numerous videos, but if you haven't checked it out, if it's the first time you're looking at a video, check out Traction by Gino Wickman. It's with the EO system, or EOS. And basically what I told him is that, he was a landscaper. So I said, you're probably going to have a hard time finding people that really want to work and make a difference in your company and, all that kind of stuff. When you are putting out job ads that say, basically, I need someone to cut the lawn. Right? And because you're going to find someone that's going to cut the lawn and you're going to pay them 15, 18, 20 bucks an hour or whatever it happens to be, right? But at the end of the day, you still are the one that's, running the company. And the best analogy I can give you is think of the dog sled, okay? Or, the dog sled team, right? And so when there's no clear direction, when you don't have the right staff and, things of that nature, and if you are still hiring employees instead of teammates, what ends up happening is you are like the sled dogs and all your employees are on the back of the sled and you're pulling them to wherever you want to go, right? They're kind of helping out, but not really, okay? And so what we started doing is through this EOS is that you, again, if you haven't watched the other videos, is it's going to do you have to do two things first before you do anything else. Number one is you have to figure out your vision of what you're trying to do, right? So you have to set typically a 10-year, a 3-year, and a 1-year plan. And then from there, you're working backwards a little bit further and you're doing these things called quarterly rocks, which are basically what do you need to do in the next 90 days in order to make your 1 year happen, right? And basically it's working backwards. Whatever your goal is for in 10 years, what needs to happen in the 3 years so that way you can get to the 10, and same thing with the 1, what needs to happen in 1 year in order to get to the 3-year goal, like that kind of stuff. Simple, right? And then the next thing you need to work on is your core values. So these are non-negotiable things, and they call them the right, right people in the right seats. What I basically say is basically to get on the bus, which is the company. In order to work for the company and get on the bus, you need to have these set of core values. So some of mine are consistency, ownership mentality, teamwork, customer service, things like that. And for me, all of them are really important, but ownership mentality is probably the biggest for me because I don't want to be the only one with the best ideas and everything else. I already did that with the other company. It didn't really work out well because it was me with all the ideas, but I don't know everything. I'm not great at sales, or, I say that. So saying here's what the sales process is going to be, that led to us probably not having an additional $1, $2, $3, and $4 million a year in revenue, right? Which could have been a game changing, but neither here nor there. So anyway, work on your vision for the company, and then you have these core values. So then, now when I'm doing job posts, it's not like, I'll just use the landscaping. It's not like, or for the packing position. So we're hiring for a packing position, which basically just someone that makes sure all the shit's basically on the pallet, and then we strap it, wrap it, and then get it ready for pickup or delivery, right? And, you're going to find people that are going to do that, right? But that's all they're going to do. Whereas now I kind of, my job posts, I talk about, where we're looking to go as a company, what we're currently doing. And then I say, this is what the position, in order to successfully do this position, you must be naturally good at, the following things, A, B, and C, right? An example would be, if I was hiring an accountant, you have to be good at math, right? And if you're not good at math, it's probably not going to work out. So there's some things that naturally you have to be good at, right? And then from there, we talk about the core values. And I say, look, this is our sole determining factor when we hire and we fire people. The core, talk about the core values, for teamwork, a little blurb about that. And then, for the rest of them as well. And, basically I put, again, if you do not have these core values, more or less don't respond to this ad because it's just going to be a waste of our time. I don't say it like that, but more or less, right? And so what ends up happening is, you know, people are always like, you know, like what we found is like if someone's not already working for someone else, like why aren't they working for someone else when they are applying to your job? Like why? You know, everyone needs workers. It's, you know, it's hard to find help, and if you're finding people that don't have a job, like something's wrong there. Okay. So, and then also the only way that I'm seeing to get really, really quality people, right? Like people that are, you know, my supervisor, my former supervisor I'm trying to get, she would never, sorry, I got an email. She would never leave that job if she didn't have the vision, right? You know, for the next company, because, you know, it's the fear of the unknown is worse than what you're currently going through, and that's what most people stop them in their tracks, right? Just think about it. Anything in life, if you didn't, like, if you know you're in a shitty situation and you didn't move on from that situation, it's because you're afraid of the unknown. You know, your situation's pretty shitty now, but it could be even worse if you went to something else, right? It could be like abusive relationships, stuff like that. You know, why are like all these women with these abusive guys? Well, the fear of the unknown is worse than what they're currently going through. Yes, they're getting the shit beat out of them right now, or mentally abused, or whatever it happens to be. But if they end up trying to leave, like things could get worse, right? As far as, you know, just by trying to leave, like the guy or girl or whatever could do things that are way worse, right? Or they end up getting into another relationship because they're always getting like attracting the same type of people, that they might find someone that's worse than what they're currently going through. So that's why they stay where they're at. Just my opinion. Okay. So anyway, in order to get these higher quality people, they need to have this vision and they need to be excited about it, right? And what that's going to do, going back to the sled dog, you know, mentality, is like when you put your visions in place and then you have these core values on top of that, you're very specific about the type of people that you want. I would always say it, like, I'm not a cheerleader. If you need someone to come in and motivate you every day to work, this isn't the place for you, right? And it was, again, because I was just hiring people to fill a position when really we're looking for people to fill a role within this team, right? And so for this dog sled mentality, because I put these things in place, we're not trying to get to the point where, you know, I'm on the back of the sled and I have all these employees trying to pull me along to where we're trying to go. That's not the mentality that we're trying to accomplish here. Because again, one, we don't have employees, right? So what I'm looking to do is I want my company to be on that seat in the back. And then I want all of us, because I'm part of the team, my wife's part of the team, like we're physically, mentally, we're all in on this thing, right? So, and then plus that, and all my other teammates, we are all dragging this company as fast and as efficiently as we possibly can to the right, wherever we're trying to go, right? And that's the mentality we're trying to get in place. And that's, I don't know everything. It's like we're very in the very early stages of this, but I see it. It's exciting. And like because of that, like the excitement is getting more and more contagious with the right people in my company right now, right? But then what I'm also seeing that really helps is that when you have so many people driving in the right direction, the few that are veering off path for whatever reason, either they're not in line with the core values, they're not excited about the vision, whatever it is, they stick out like a sore thumb, and it's just blatantly apparent that they don't belong in the company, right? So what's been happening is, like, I try not firing people, like, because people that have been with me, they came from the other company, and I'm trying not to fire them. Like, I still feel, even though they're within a new company, like, I still feel responsible for them. But what's happening is people are leaving the company because they see it's not a good fit for them anymore. They, like, it's just very apparent. So I hope this explanation helps. If there's anything I can do for you, again, I own SJ Fence Supply in South Jersey, right? We deliver an hour and a half from, like, basically, you know, all of South and Central Jersey, parts of Pennsylvania, Delaware, things of that nature. So if you're in need of a supplier that, you know, for fencing, we're here for you. But I am also here to help you grow your business. That's why the purpose of these videos. I enjoy trying to give back. There's a lot of information I wish I had when I was just getting started out. And honestly, the biggest piece of the puzzle that I've always been missing is like this EOS, like this system, right? And it's putting everything into place. Like, it's crazy what's happening. It's crazy, and we're just getting started. So we're just starting to see the traction that's coming, right? Play on the book, but I would highly suggest reading it, and like figuring out the 10-year, like the vision for the company along with the core values. And it's been game changing. Like, it really has, and it's exciting. I can't wait. And you can just see it with all the the rest of the team. Like, I think they're starting to see. And because, like, what also is very important that I've read is that, with the vision and everything else, and as a leader of the company, what they say is, and hopefully I get this right, because it's like, I'm not going to edit this stuff, is basically, it doesn't matter if they believe you. It matters, like, I could say all I want, like, the goal for us in 10 years is to sell 500,000 vinyl fence panels a year. Like, that's a crazy goal. Like, 500,000, like, that's crazy. And that's just vinyl. Like, that's not including all the other shit. But that's the goal, right? And it doesn't matter that they believe that basically it's possible. All that it matters is that I believe that it's possible, right? And that's all they need, right? And but again, I was missing a lot of this in life, where basically we started the company and, like, I'm doing one thing, this person's doing this thing, this person's doing this thing, and we're all going in different directions. Whereas now, there is, and imagine if a sled dog team was doing that, like, one's pulling in all different directions. Where's it going to go? Nowhere, right? And all it's going to lead is to frustration and dogs giving up and laying down. Like, that's equivalent of quitting, right? Or start eating each other. So I guess that's equivalent of getting fired. I don't know. But now, because everyone is aligned with the vision, most of everyone, like, we're working on that, but everyone's aligned with the vision. We are like tunnel vision, going straight after our goal at this point, and we're seeing a lot of progress because of that. So anyway, hope you guys find this video helpful. If you need anything, please let me know. It's going to start getting busy soon, but again, so SJ Fence Supply, and then we have all kinds of cool calculators and tools and shit like that to make your life easier. So have a great day.